Simpsons Index, an online spreadsheet that is also a podcast. This is the podcast.
And we are live from Thornley.
I almost said the dank and we're not there.
Yeah, we're not in the dank. Does your house have a nickname?
Frosting Fort.
Frosting Fort.
Sterling's house.
Sterling's Place.
Sterling's channel.
We are live from Sterling's place, and this is episode 22 of the Simpsons Index. Hello, I am your host, Elliot J. O'Neill, and joining me this week is...
Shayna.
Jordan.
My name's Bort.
Come along, Bort.
And we all just came back from Florida recently,
Yay!
where we went to Simpsons World. Woo!
Woo! Simpsons
Also
World
known as
in...
Universal
yeah, I was
Studios
about to say-
Islands of Adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's not in Islands of Adventure. It's
Isn't it?
Universal Studios.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Yeah. Important, because just so people don't think there's a literal, actual Simpsons World, you know.
Yeah. It's at a theme park that's in Florida, the heart of land of theme parks, where we went to many theme parks, but we're not talking about those today.
No.
So in lieu of doing a HD episode, we are going to just briefly talk about Simpsons World, review the Simpsons ride for the Index, and then we'll get back to our normal scheduled program. So guys, Simpsons World, what did you think?
It's nice.
It was alright.
Yeah.
No, actually, no, it is. Before you go into the ride or into the Moe's or into the Krusty Burger or anything, it's like being in Springfield on the street is really cool. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, I think of almost all of the lands, and I love Harry Potter lands, but I think it's probably the most immersive of all the Universal lands.
Yeah.
The name of the ride was that we didn't go on.
Oh, that one.
Oh, the Kang and Kodos thing?
Yes.
So yeah, there are only actual 2 rides in this thing. We're not reviewing the Kang and Kodos one because, let's face it, that ride was for babies. It was a step up from Mother Goose's...
Yes.
Which
Fun
Elliot,
playland.
considering your fear and my fear, we probably should have gone on that. Probably would have been a bit of a wild ride for you and I.
would have exceeded the height restrictions.
Maybe.
But yeah, the Springfield itself, it's really immersive. They've got an actual Lard Lad Donuts there.
Yeah, full statue. It's very detailed. You can kind of tell that whoever the rejects from Disney who ended up at Universal to build their theme parks, when they got the opportunity to do this, was like, fuck yes, and just went nuts. Because they've even got signs up saying, we're only going to reference seasons 1 through 9. They're not even, what most people would consider the core series. So even then they've, stopped at that point and said, this is the only references we're going to make.
Plus they made I was about to say that there's actually new voice work done by, you can tell, the original
original cast on
as well.
Yeah.
Especially with the Kang and Kodos ride, it's actually, is it Harry Shearer that does Kang and Kodos? Anyway, it doesn't matter. One of them. And then even on while you're waiting for the ride, there's new footage,
new bits and pieces,
which is interspersed with the footage from the theme park episodes, which we'll talk about later. But there's actually Krusty talking about the ride.
Yep.
Which wasn't actually too bad either. If it wasn't an episode of its own, it was kind of the quality.
For a while there, when I was watching those bits, I thought, is this an episode I haven't seen, or is this made specifically for the park?
Yeah.
And it was made for the park. It's very cool.
Yeah, actually, I have to say, I agree. Those interspersed bits are they are up to the quality of the
a season
episodes.
10 to 12,
Yeah.
I would say.
But yeah, all through the park, not just on the Simpsons ride, they've got this basically a Simpsons clip show running the whole time. And when you're in the Krusty Burger thing, there's a clip show of all their restaurant scenes and all that. And so yeah, just talking about Krusty Burger briefly for a moment. So that fucking place is chaos.
That is a really bad idea.
It is poorly run.
Yeah.
I was about to say, because you look at it from the outside facade, it looks like there's a Moe's Tavern.
Yeah.
There's a Krusty Burger. There's there's the Android's Dungeon on the right. There's
Cletus's Chicken Shack for some reason.
Yeah.
Remember that episode?
There's a
Flying Dutchman.
There's
There's a vegetarian.
something
There's
green.
the pizzeria as well. The
there's
Luigi's.
But then once you get in, you're shuffled into one continuous maze
big
line,
cafeteria,
which is basically grab a tray and just pick which one.
No matter which restaurant you want to go to, and it's bullshit
One line.
because the only ones that have a queue are Krusty Burger and Moe's.
Yeah. But let's be honest. Would you ever expect good service in a town like Springfield anyway? It's probably very reflective
That's
of the
true.
True. There's a limit to how much immersion I want, and shit service is not part of it.
Yeah. Although, I think the biggest disappointment was you can buy a Flaming Moe It is non-alcoholic though, so what's the point? And
Yeah,
it
so-
especially doesn't have cough syrup in it. So
Okay,
again,
look,
what's
let
the
me
point?
tick off all the things I hate about the flaming mo that they serve there.
Yeah.
First of all, it's orange, not purple.
Yeah.
It's not on fire. It's got dry ice in it, so it's not a flaming mo. It's a
Is that what it was? I didn't even know.
a
I didn't
smoky
bother.
ice bubbling mo. And there's no alcohol, let alone the high proof alcohol that would allow it to be set on fire.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say that if Disney did a Flaming Moe's, it would be perfect.
It would
Oh,
be
yeah.
perfect.
No kidding. Man.
Although they don't actually. They sell alcohol
They
in their
sell
parks?
alcohol everywhere in the parks.
They didn't at Cinderella's Royal Table. But
Okay,
anyway.
they did it Cinderella.
They don't. They
And
don't.
they don't on the teacups, damn it.
Yeah.
That's probably a good thing.
good
They don't in
reason.
Magic Kingdom, do they? I thought Magic Kingdom was dry and everywhere else you
Yeah.
would get.
I don't think
No,
Magic
I
Kingdom
think
is.
I don't know.
I didn't get drunk in Magic Kingdom, and I would have if I could
Yeah,
have.
so maybe
Yeah.
Magic
We
Kingdom,
definitely
but the
got a
others
drunk in
do.
Hollywood.
Oh,
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean Epcot?
Epcot.
But I think.
And
And Hollywood,
Yeah.
yeah, Indiana Jones, right? That was awesome.
Oh yeah, watching Indy drunk. Anyway, Simpsons. So so the cafeteria as well. Just to close up on that, we ate at Krusty Burgers predictably, and most of us got ribwidges. I think you got the.
I got the
Krusty
Krusty Burger and it was shit.
Yeah.
The bun was terrible. The meat was dry. I expected a Krusty Burger to be
like a Whopper in my
like
head.
I actually sort of expected it to be more of like a double quarter pounder, but slipperier. So
Sure.
kind of in between a Whopper and a double quarter pounder, and it wasn't. And
Yeah.
they also didn't have partially gelatinated shakes.
No,
Yeah,
missed
that-
reference opportunity.
That
Yeah.
was really
Totally.
because they did have shakes, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
what
just
you get.
low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
And yeah, the ribwidges themselves, look, I appreciated that it was a pulled pork sandwich, but again, the idea that we're sold in the episode is that it's a lot of meat that's been shaped into this rib-like,
rib-like
square,
substance.
which you got at a Macca's, didn't
So
you?
when we first went to not the first time we
Yeah.
went to America, but when we went to the States on our honeymoon, McDonald's had the McRib, which I believe is what the ribwidge is based on, and the McRib is pretty damn good. It is meat shaped as a rib wrap
Like it's
on a
like
bun with just lots of barbecue sauce.
That's
I was
what's
gonna say-
annoying is they had a template to work from and
Yeah.
they didn't. do
Yeah.
it.
the best part. Well, the best part about that is as well is like it's all meat. There's no bones on this thing, but it's like you know how like ribs have like the bits sticking out at regular intervals
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
the bone would usually be, but that's meat, and so it's like just all. It's like they get a bunch of. They get a bunch of just like offcuts and like just press it into like a cookie cutter thing, I think, and then just
It's
cook it
basically
like that.
Tracy Jordan's meat machine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically, yeah. No, that's the double.
Oh, God, America, you just keep doing your...
But,
Yeah, so just wrapping up, like the cafeteria was all around just a bit of a disappointment, but I mean, God love them for putting in all those restaurants and doing
Yeah.
all the loving detail and stuff.
although they did have a great gift shop where we all got
Yeah,
bought.
So yeah, the Quickie Mart
Nameplates.
itself serves as a gift shop. You reckon?
I'm currently drinking out of my Duff beer stubby holder. So
Nice. And there's like about 3 or 4 different keychain things, and yes, all of them have a bought option.
And we
Yeah.
made them sold out of boy.
No. Well, no, what was really funny is I mentioned to a number of people, so for those of you listening who know about Disney pin trading, which is the greatest hobby of all time, which now 3 of the 4 of us in this room are now taking part in, they had...
I was dangerously close.
Universal also have pins, and we found a bought pin, and when I went to the stand, there was only one left. So I went to the front to ask for another one to see if they had them for all of us, and they had a bag full. Anyway, I mentioned it to some friends of ours, Luke and Erin, who were also there, who decided to start pin trading on their last day as well. And I was like, oh, did you guys get the bought pins from Universal? And they're like, no, they were sold out. I'm like, that's the trick. I think it's part of the
the
joke.
joke is to
that
be almost
it's always
always.
empty, because
Yeah.
a number of people have said, oh, I never got the bought pin because it was sold out. So
You have
it was
to
not
ask.
just them. I've spoken to other people since who've also said the bought pin was sold out. I think that's...
Wow.
It's weird because they've got a bunch of other bought merchandise, but the pins themselves, like the Quickie Mart ones, they're like, nah.
Well, yeah, because they don't actually have bought license plates, but
No.
in lieu of that, they've got
The
Bought
Quickie
everything
Mart, yeah.
else.
the Quickie Mart pins, which are pretty awesome, and yeah.
I was about to say outside as well. There's a phone, and sometimes it will ring, and it's like Nelson talking to you. I think you heard.
Yeah, he says
what is
weird things, and
Yeah,
to
it
me,
was
he
really
said like,
bizarre.
"Hang up the phone, dingus! I wasn't calling specifically for you," or something like that.
Yeah.
That's something. That's pretty cool.
I
Yeah,
thought,
nice
yeah.
little touch.
But I was about to say, when we were talking about immersion, the one thing that kind of threw me was the fact that just as you walk into Springfield, there's
There's
a
a DeLorean.
DeLorean on the left.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
It's a bit of a
what's
sweet
that
rate.
for? Doesn't matter. It's not quite past the Springfield sign, so I guess it counts. So anyway.
Well, actually, I was doing a little bit of research, and apparently the Simpsons ride took over the old Back to the Future ride.
Oh, I love The Simpsons, but I love Back to the Future.
Oh yeah, Back to. I remember that was the thing. It was like an experience. I remember Universal used to be like shows. There was a lot more shows.
Yeah.
Like a backdraft one. There was the and it's like Doc and he's getting shocked on the clock face. Okay, no, I didn't know that. There you go.
Yep.
And they've gotten rid of Jaws. I'm very sad about that.
They got rid of Jaws.
Yeah.
Which was
They
actually
didn't in
They got
California.
rid of Jaws to put in the Harry Potter train.
Oh, okay. Well,
Which, as much as I love Harry Potter, I would rather have Jaws because Jaws was really fun.
You know, just have both. You're on the Harry Potter train, all of a sudden Jaws pops out of the water.
Why not? Okay, no, those Jaws, yo.
Yeah.
before we get to the ride, we didn't really do any of the carnival sideshow things.
Oh, yeah, I forgot
They've
about
got like a bunch of Santa's little helpers on the old, squirt the water gun, make the horsey go game, and there's like ring tosses and things like that.
Oh, that's right. It was like a Willie's strength kind of thing as well, or like
Yeah.
to throw the bottle and
Which were cute, but those things just feel like they're to vacuum money and not really anything else.
like a regular carnival.
Like a regular
ride.
carnival.
Yeah.
I like the pretense that they're going to vacuum my money through quality gifts and experience.
Yeah. No.
Like how much money I gave to Disney
I was
Pins.
gonna say, just like how
Exactly.
Disney does
It was just walk into the pin store, just hook it to my veins.
I couldn't remember. Like some of them didn't seem to be like themed. Like I couldn't remember what was the strength tester themed on. I couldn't even remember. It was the one where you like
they were all,
smack
the
thing.
references were all a stretch at best. You know.
But there was the one where it was like the ring toss. It was all like irradiated, like cores, and one was like bright green, and so that was like gives you extra things. But obviously, it's probably too wide for the ring to fit on, and blah blah blah.
Again, that would be
And
a
it was like it
reference.
was
That's the game.
really really kind of thinly veiled like.
And there's like
distances.
Whack-a-Scratchy instead of Whack-a-Mole.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And I only assume Fantastic Dan lives in there at night.
Yeah. I mean, they are carny, sucky, money things, but like I at least appreciated the detail in the references and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
at least they made it Whack-a-Scratchy and not,
Yeah.
Yeah. Although I did see the exact same ride, that thing, the Whacker thing, in one of the other parks, I think, but
Reskinned to something else.
themed differently. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's the exact same thing.
It
Anyway.
was in Jurassic World and they were like
Yes.
Whack-a-Raptor or something.
That's right. They
Yeah.
were, yeah.
On to the Simpsons ride. So you line up, and I think we waited half an hour or something.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I think it's one of the most popular rides
It is,
in Universal.
It is the most popular.
Probably, yeah.
Except, I
Except
think
for
the other
Minions, maybe.
Or Kong
It's just
Skull
people
Island.
Oh, and watch out next year when Jimmy Fallon's ride
Oh,
gets
yeah.
Escape to New York or whatever.
Whatever it is.
with
Escape
Jimmy
from-
Fallon and the Roots.
Yeah, so
Escape
it's-
from Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah, there is no escape. It was like 30, 40 minutes wait, I think.
Yeah, and so when you're in line, they've geniusly got TV set up playing, as Jordan was saying, all the clips from the theme park episodes of The Simpsons, and it's intercut with these segments, mostly featuring Krusty the Clown, telling you about the ride and making jokes about that, and they were pretty good.
As if you're in Krusty Land almost. Like,
Yeah.
it's about his, and how he's got to make money because like someone is, it's like the IRS or someone's chasing it. Anyway, but yeah, it's based on as if you're in Krusty Land, I guess, which is...
Yeah. Also, you're meant to be following the Simpsons who are getting on a ride at Krusty
That's
Land.
right. Like it's the grand opening of
Is
this
the
ride,
whole,
isn't it?
is the overall arch of the story of the ride.
And some of those cartoons had Doc Brown in them as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's right.
That's right. So that was the reference to the...
To
Yeah.
the old ride.
Because it was like, it was the Frink was going to go back and like save the... it was like an institute.
that Doc Brown had set up, but then he goes back in time and whoops, runs over not Mr. Burns, someone else, and that's why they had to blah, blah, blah. He created the future he hated.
Yeah, basically.
I
And then
forgot all about
you
that.
forgot the best bit,
Yeah.
where like all the other places where they have computer screens and everything to tell you which things to go. These guys had a paper on a clipboard and a pen tallying off people who got onto the ride
That's right.
to go, all right, we got 8, 10, 12. All right, you go this way, and like instead of
Very
having some
low-tech.
kind of futuristic, like but it's what I would expect from a Krusty Land ride. Be like, I don't know if I've done my maths right, so just go up that
whatever.
ramp
Yeah.
and we'll see.
No, you start questioning them, but anyway. So you get put in these little rooms where you get shown like clips for about 5 minutes still while you're waiting, and so they start cutting into the story that Sideshow Bob's come along and started trouble. Yeah.
All did the same sound effect.
It's what's required.
Yeah.
So it's part of my gripe, and especially after doing a bunch of these theme parks, is 3D simulation rides where something fucking goes wrong. Like, it's
You mean every single one of them? Right?
Pretty much every ride at Universal was, here's a 3D screen, and
everything's going nice, and then watch
something
out.
went wrong.
Watch out! At one point, you're gonna fall forwards. Yeah.
But no, they did it with all of them. And on the moments like in The Mummy where we got stuck in the fire room, we were like...
Oh, yeah. We were gonna get
I really like the Mummy ride, actually.
The Mummy Light ride is like one of the best rides.
It threw in practical effects along with the screen, and it worked really, really well.
Yeah.
Actually set
Doesn't
you on
matter how
fire.
many times I do it. Every time there's mummies like fling up, I get the shit scared out of me. It doesn't matter. I love it.
And this time we got trapped in the fire room, and that was a little bit uncomfortable.
That was
For a little bit, you're like, this
And then
is
it's like
concerning.
the bit where you're supposed to get flung into hell. Suddenly, you didn't know when you were going to get, and so it came as a surprise and made it even scarier. Anyway, but yes.
all those moments in those simulation rides kind of make you desensitized to that. So the whole time I was like, "Oh, this is taking too long," and all you guys are like, "Oh." But then in the Simpsons ride, look, I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt here. I think we were stuck in like the most upper right cart. So, like, the parabolic screen kind of...
didn't quite work as well.
I think because we were in the back row as well. I felt I was in MST3K with, like, the silhouettes of people in front of the screen, like, the whole time. Because we had the family of 4 in front of us, because it's like it's 2x4 rows.
2 rows of
and so
4.
I had their heads for, like, the bottom third of the screen some of the time. I don't know if you guys had the same issue, but it kind of... I was kind of trying to look around and over them to see what was
you've also
happening.
got like the Simpsons going, we've got to save this family we brought along with us, and it's like, there's other people. I know you're not.
We
talking
don't
to
know.
me. You've hurt my feelings by pretending you're talking to me when I know you're talking to a group.
Yeah.
Just that little bit of emotion.
Yeah, how
going.
dare you not speak directly to me?
I know. Use my name, fuckers.
Yeah.
Say my name.
Bort.
But it was kind of, the ride itself was not, while the scenes beforehand could have been season 10 to 12 quality, I felt the ride itself was not
season
really
16.
Yeah, it was like, don't go and don't let anyone in that room. There's the radiation. Don't know what could happen. So of course, like, someone is going to go in there, and it turned out to be Maggie. Yeah.
So the ride, like, it starts out like you're on a roller coaster, and then almost immediately Sideshow Bob comes along and fucks it up.
Something goes wrong.
Yeah.
What?
Like,
Crazy.
and so then for the rest of it, it's about 5 minutes all told, and
It is long. It is very long. I'll just very quickly. You said 5 minutes, and I was like, yeah, that is like, it just keeps going. Like, you think it's done, and then it's
And
and it seems to jump from set piece to set piece to set piece with no solid connection between any of them. It's just chaos is constantly happening, and like, I didn't really feel dragged into the ride and the 3D immersion at all. I mean,
and it's also one of the parabolic screen rides that makes you feel the most sick of all of them. Between that and the Harry Potter ride, what's it called again? Hogwarts one?
Escape from Hogwarts.
Escape from Hogwarts. Yeah. That one always makes me feel sick, but I'll always do it. But that one always makes me feel really queasy. This the Simpsons one.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
It's
not the
very
best
jerky.
quality. Like,
it's not smooth at
no,
all.
and also if you compare that to the other parabolic rides in,
Like the Spider-Man
like
one.
the Spider-Man one is a really good one.
Yeah,
I think
that's an excellent
top
ride.
quality ride. But I just think the Simpsons one is just.
I feel
People like the Simpsons, they're gonna go on it anyway. But it is good. It is.
I feel like the animation. I think also because it's a huge screen, but it's kind of, it feels like it was made in standard definition. It feels like the quality itself of the animation seems really like the edges are jagged, and it seems not kind of the high quality that you would expect.
And they've gone for the 3D sort of almost cell-shaded style as well, which is weird when you've been shown all these clips all the way through. That's the 2D. And
it's weird when you have, 25 years of fandom seeing it a certain way, and then they present it in a different way for the ride.
Yeah. But look, to its credit again, it shoves in a lot of references to The Simpsons, and
which is always
fun. Fans will be pleased. I overall though, like, it did leave me feeling a bit empty, like, at the end of it.
Spewed?
No.
You didn't nurture the child within me.
No,
Nurture
I
it.
spewed already when you pointed out that ride that you and Beach were going to do later.
Oh, yeah.
The rocket?
The Hulk or the Rocket. Yeah, either one.
Either one. Either one. Me and Shayna were like, oh, here's a ride, the souvenir store.
Here's a ride. Here's a chance to sit down for once. Yeah, those rides are gross.
I would take Hulk over Rocket.
Yeah. I think there was a couple of cool bits to it, though. There's a bit where, like, Maggie is huge and she sees, like, your, like, coaster cart and, like, uses you as a pacifier. So you're, like,
when you get
shoved
shoved in her mouth.
Shunted forward as she, like, sucks on the pacifier. Cool little things like that. And
I think I see the Simpsons ride as the second decade of The Simpsons, which it's good, but it has a lot more potential. Like, it has potential to be a lot better.
I guess they need it to be kind of crazy because they want to be able to, like, make you feel like, whoa, I'm going all over the place and we're going, I actually feel like we're going down a roller coaster. But it was there was the bit where it's like I can't remember what it is. It's like you're supposed to be like in heaven. You're in the cloud something. And it's like, no, it's actually like the tallest roller coaster in the world or something. And you're like dropping through the sky. And it's just, I don't know, it kind of lost me in some of the things because it's like, well, there's no, like, Krusty Land in the episode, or even Duff Gardens or whatever, it's like ridiculous, but it's not. There's not a roller coaster into the stratosphere in the actual Krusty Land or anything like that.
I think it would have been more fun, and I don't design roller coasters, so what the fuck do I know? But anyway, there was a Simpsons game on the DS. Yes, it was like or maybe it was. I don't know. It was a Simpsons game anyway, where you were in a car and you were driving around Springfield.
Simpsons Hit and Run.
Yes, I reckon it would have been heaps more fun if they based it on that. If they base roller coaster on that,
then you get to be like rashing around Springfield.
Yeah, exactly, and going to visit people going through.
Yeah, see some references while you're there.
Exactly, yeah.
I'm on board.
Well, yeah, that makes a bit more sense because the whole Krusty Land thing, I mean, Krusty Land has never actually been in an episode. It was Duff Gardens or Itchy and Scratchy Land, or maybe they did do a Krusty Land in the later
Camp
seasons.
Krusty once, but that's about
Camp
it.
Krusty, but yeah, if they just did it as, oh, this is the Simpsons driving you around Springfield doing a tour or something, and then hi Jinx, yeah. But even like the ride as it exists now, I just wish the roller coaster portion of it went on a little bit longer, and there was a bit more immersion. I don't know, for me, because you're in the clouds at one point, then you're down in a swamp, and then
and then you're in hell at one point. I remember you fall through. And like Frink comes down with his little copter and like picks you up, and there's like a demon about to poke you and stuff. It's weird. Like you fall through this hole in the earth.
Wow, I didn't even
The
remember
more
that.
we talk about it, the less I like it.
Yeah, I was at a silver. I'm down now.
Yeah. All right. That about covers it for Simpsons World. So yeah, let's rank this ride.
The ride or the whole world? What are we doing?
The ride.
Okay.
Because that's like the experience of it all. That's like watching an episode.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, Shayna, what do you give the ride? What do you rank it on our 6-point ranking scale, starting up at the top at cubic zirconium, working our way down gold, silver, bronze, participant, and failure? What do you give it?
I, like Beej, was going to give it a silver, and I do give it a participant now. Especially when you compare
not even bronze.
Yeah, I'm not even. Oh no, sorry, bronze.
Oh,
yeah.
Mine then.
I don't even. The thing is, I'm not going to compare it to Disney. There is no point comparing
No.
anything that Universal does to Disney. However, even comparing it to other Universal rides, it could be a lot better. And it's not great, and it does make you feel sick. Like I was so queasy afterwards. So yeah, I'm gonna have to give it bronze.
All right.
Soz.
How about
I'm
you?
just Googling right now. When was it built?
Googling. on
2008. So it's like right at the end of
2008. Okay.
right at the end of season 19.
Like they should have had slightly better quality stuff then for 2008. I don't know. I'm trying to think
how
of
good
what
is
else.
the ET ride? How old is that?
That's like at least 30 years old. And Steven Spielberg still has a little thing at the front of it. I remember quite liking it the first time, but I remember the first time we ever went, I felt so sick going on it that I was like, I never want to ever go on this ride again. And then going on it again, it wasn't actually too bad, but I remember it. But yeah, I think it goes on for quite a while, and it doesn't draw you in, and it's a bit like you just go, oh, I get it now. Yes, look, yes. Oh, it was a trick. Sideshow Bob is still around. Blah blah blah. So I'm probably gonna go participant only because it would have been bronze, but the fact that again you also have to wait like 40 minutes minimum, I'd say it was up at around 2 hours some days we were there.
Wow.
that because it's so popular, it makes it kind of just not worth it when you can get on, say,
Mummy.
like The Mummy in 5 to 10 minutes, which is more thrilling, I would say. So I think participant from me.
Yep. How about you, Beach?
I'm going to bronze it. Thinking back on it, I think I had more fun in the line watching clips and enjoying like the village of Springfield than I did on the actual ride itself. I didn't get queasy, but I barely even remember the ride. I just know Sideshow Bob's there and craziness happens.
He's
blah,
a
blah,
panda
blah.
at some stage.
I mean, we've all been a panda at some stage.
Oh, that's something special.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. It's just a little lackluster. I don't say it's bad by any stretch. It's just you want more and you don't get it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and you want more, you don't get it. I echo that sentiment, but I give it a participant instead because, it's especially with Simpsons World being so lovingly detailed, and even if the cafeteria itself sucks, like
at least everything else fits, but you want that detail to extend to the ride itself.
Absolutely. And the ride itself, I have already re-scripted it a bunch in my head, and it can play out better so many different ways. And I'm glad we only waited as long as we did, because 10 minutes longer,
the balance of waiting to fun would have been.
I would have just been all F this S and the A, like.
Can you F S and the A? Does S have an?
Oh, you can FS.
Does S have an A to F?
Welcome to Googling on the Simpsons Index.
Does S have an A to F?
Well, no, I think if you F in the A, you're bound to find S. Like, there's just no doubt about it.
I thought that would be the other way around.
The only other thing that I found annoying, and I think it was just our room, but the guy who was obviously trying to get into like working on the ride, and he was trying to do jokes as he was doing the safety procedure for us, and he was like pulling out his card, and he's like, "All right, greet guests."
I
was like, "Oh, please stop! You are not."
Yeah, but I reckon that's probably part of all.
I don't reckon. I think it was just him.
No, because they have quite strict rules on what they can and can't do.
Re-script him sounding like squeaky voice.
Yeah. Well,
okay,
there was.
Let me have a look at the checklist. Greet guests. I've done that. Put bags. No, we did. Okay, you're good. Bye.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, now we're setting up a bit of a theme with the next two episodes that we're going to cover. So from our teens era episode, we are going to watch I'm Spelling As Fast As I Can, which is the episode that features the infamous Rip Witch. Season 14, episode something. Anyway, so we're going to watch that, and we'll be back. And we are back. We just watched season 14, episode 12. I'm Spelling As Fast As I Can.
My God, he's absolutely right.
AKA the one where Lisa enters a spelling contest and subsequently, alongsidedly, Homer discovers the Rib Witch. Guys, what do you think?
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I liked it. It was decent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I feel I can't remember a lot of the rest of the season, but I feel like maybe this is the season where they're like, we're gonna make a lot of reference jokes, because I noticed there was a few where I was like, oh, like Frankenstein, I'm stitched from the members of the Denver Nuggets, and it's like you probably needed to know the NBA at the time, know about the thing.
To be funny.
Or like there was a few other ones where it was like references, and I was like, oh, is this where they started? Doing a bunch of references as jokes, I think. But apart from that, I mean, it was fine. The humor was kind of on par with, I guess, what you expect.
Well, just on your references point, I didn't get any of the jokes about the Seven Sisters colleges.
No.
Well, I'm guessing they were just like stereotypes of...
Yeah, you can get them from the context.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those ones where I don't think you're expected to know exactly what the colleges are about, but you get it from context. That's
I know... What's the thing? I didn't realize there was like... Yale and Harvard and Princeton are all, co-ed
Ivy
school.
League.
So I didn't understand, like, there's the Ivy League, there's the 7 Ivy League universities. I didn't realize there's, like, sister... I don't know if they're real universities or not. Wait, Googling on the Simpsons on Simpsons Index.
Welcome to Googling on the Simpsons Index.
It feels like
Google
it's such a low payoff thing,
But
though.
it's
It
like,
seems
yeah,
like
and
it's
I
a
was
real
like, why
boring
is
reference.
yeah.
Just quickly, can we make music for Googling on the Simpsons Index? And you'll be like, Googling on the Simpsons Index, an online spreadsheet that is also a podcast. This is also a segment where we Google. This is the Googling. Can we please? Can we stop for ice cream, please?
It's usually the parts that I take out anyway. Yeah.
Would anyone like to know about the Seven Sisters Colleges?
Yes, please.
Is a loose association of several liberal arts colleges in the northeastern United States that are historically women's colleges. They are Barnard, Bryn Mawr,
Vassar.
Mount Holyoke, Radcliffe, Smith, Vassar, and Wellesley. All were founded between 1837 and 1889. Radcliffe merged with Harvard. Vassar is now co-educational. No longer women's colleges, I guess.
Okay. So it doesn't. I guess it's of the time, but yeah, I don't know why
so
Lisa
there's only
would
two
want.
of them. The other 5 of them are.
It's weird because I would
Women's
assume
only.
Lisa would want to go to the most prestigious college, not just a women's liberal.
Well,
arts.
that's the option that he gave her.
Yeah, it's a college, I think.
Yeah, but she. Well,
When
the
you
thing
can't
is,
afford
right,
anyone that's free. Is
No,
good.
true. But in her dream, right, she sees them as like on the top of like Mount Olympus,
Yeah,
as in
well,
it's like her kind of ultimate goal.
Let's
right?
not
Almost.
forget, previously we've had Lisa say, at this rate, the best I can do is Vassar. And Homer goes, well, I've had just enough of your Vassar bashing.
That's true.
So they've sledged Vassar before.
So she has mentioned that. Okay, fair enough.
And of course, also not Brown. Lisa, you seem to be saying Brown a lot. Sorry,
Shayna?
I don't know, just in terms of symbology, I guess, is that whenever we see something that's of high, I mean, they're always Greek symbolism. Symbology? Is symbology even a word?
Symbolism is fine.
According to Dan Brown, it is.
Inferno was a good book, but anyway.
Found out fucking squozen was a word last week.
Squozen.
Squozen? What
Yeah.
does it mean?
When you squeeze the juice out of something,
Oh,
the husk
it is
remaining has been
squozen.
squozen. Of
Right.
That's
its
what happened.
juice.
That's what happened to me yesterday.
You were
With
squozen?
my stomach, I was a squozen at the end of the day.
Wow.
Anyway, back on track. Besides the references that we didn't get, yeah. So starting out the episode was that Boobarella thing. I don't know if it was her first appearance, but she's
I don't
always.
think it is. I'm sure she's been. in
Nah,
it
yeah, I'm
before.
pretty sure she's been around before, but I do still enjoy the boo.
Yeah.
It's funny. Let's admit it.
Even though the segment itself was kind of eh.
Actually, yeah, remember, there's a bit where Mr. Burns goes, Smithers, you know Glenn down in accounting? That's his daughter. I forget which episode that is. But
Really?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I've forgotten all
Where
about
Boobarella
that.
shows up before.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, they're watching the Boobarella show, and she cuts to some sort of weird Harlem Globetrotters versus monsters with
Yeah.
Ray Romano.
Yeah, weird. That's the thing. It's a quote that I like, the boobs, and then cut with like a really bunch of non-jokes. But more importantly, during that we get the ad break that cuts to the Rib Witch.
Yep.
And I wrote down, ribs taste like liberty.
But also, before that even happens, though, it's seemingly completely out of place, the Apu's back-to-school sale, which references nothing else.
Yeah,
Apart
No,
from
it was
the fact that-
referencing. It was referencing the fact that they were going back to school.
Yeah, I know, but there is no joke at the end of that apart from
The
please
joke
don't beat
leads
me up
nowhere, is
anymore.
what you're
Yeah,
saying.
it's kind of it
It's a
seems
bit-
like
it's a dud moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's literally the fuse goes sss,
yeah.
and nothing happens.
Yeah, but I mean, those two ads are there to set up each of the stories. The one being the Rib Witch, and the other being the school spelling bee, which happens.
How coincidental they were watching that program.
Exactly.
Otherwise, we would never have known that they were at school.
It feels like a Chekhov's gun kind of thing, though, where it's like, "Oh, Apu, please don't beat me up," and then it just never is
there it goes.
mentioned ever.
No,
again.
I think it's more of there's an XKCD comic where it's like the last news report you hear before leaving the house will somehow affect your day. So, just play that game next time you're leaving the house, and any kind of ad or news
Yeah,
report.
oh,
Assume it will directly affect your life.
You'd be like, "Oh, Paris is no more. The city of lights is gone."
Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, some great news gags from old Kenny Brocklestein there.
Yep.
So yeah, the episode pretty much kicks off after they do that whole ad sequence, and then the kids are back at school, and there was that great sequence with Martin and Nelson.
Yeah,
and
I
you
remember
find out that on the school break they'd been at space camp together.
Yeah, well, especially coming from was it the lemon tree episode where, you know, hark to the tale of Nelson and the boy he loved so dear. How Nelson and Martin have that brief moment. In this, they've got that moment of having shared space camp together.
Yeah, yeah.
And seemingly had a great time, because if anything, the shirt that Martin is wearing is anything to go by. They're both having a blast.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
yeah, and Nelson still speaks to him as his acting commander. Like,
No, I really like that bit as just a quick little... It might be... outside of school, Nelson is pretty cool person.
Oh, yeah. When he's not at school, when he doesn't have to impress the bullies, yeah. And in the World's Fair episode, when they go out to Knoxville, Nelson's their buddy there too. Yeah.
And there's, I forget which episode, there's a bit where Nelson's just sitting with a bunch of people and he's talking about how to make like radish rosettes, and then Principal Skinner walks in and goes, oh yeah, so then I punched him and he threw up.
It's huckleberry pie.
Anyway, the trick is to get the huckleberries real soft.
And if they're too tart, I just dust them with a little confectioner sugar. So yeah, then they Principal Skinner kicks off the school year with a school-wide spelling bee, and then
which seems unfair.
I did a
I'll be
part
honest.
in my pants.
I've literally got that down.
Yeah.
the IMP gag, which seems so juvenile at the start, and then they bring it round with Ralph going, I've made a bite in my pants, and then later on when Bart goes, she said IMP, and then Nelson smacks him and says, shut up, B.
Yep.
Great moments. And so Lisa wins the spell contest.
Heads to the Spell Olympics, which is being sued
Not
for
yet.
suffix
She goes
Olympics.
she goes to the state
Yep.
finals first. You can't forget that. Completely irrelevant bit of the episode.
Montaged with, I put a spell on you.
Yeah. You get it?
I
get
don't.
it.
Oh, come on. It was on the nose, but it was well used.
It was.
Yeah.
It's also a bloody good song.
It is.
Yeah. Screamin' Jay Hawkins or Creedence Clearwater Revival? Go around the table.
Oh, what version's that one?
Neither.
Screamin' Jay Hawkins.
Yeah.
That one's Screamin' Jay?
That one's
Yeah.
I prefer the Screamin' Jay version then, I gotta say.
Well, can I choose another one?
Yeah.
Third party.
Yeah.
No, it's a two-party system. You have to choose one.
No, is it Nina Simone?
Nina Simone's
Nina Simone's
version is
version.
probably
I
the
love.
best.
That's sex.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
sex.
Yeah.
How about you, Beach?
Credence. Always Credence.
All right, and Screamin' Jay Hawkins for the win.
I just love how crazy that version is.
Yeah.
Screamin' Jay. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like nuts. Yeah, you are going to put a spell on me because you are literally...
No, you should check
devil
out the
inside
old
him.
videos for it as well. He's like dressed up in full voodoo garb and
Yeah.
stuff.
Wow. That's cool.
He looks freaky as
And
fuck.
if memory serves, there's a concert where he was meant to start that in a coffin, but the coffin wouldn't open. He was trapped in there. For
No
like-
shit.
And apparently he shit himself.
Wow.
So look that up. Google that on your own time. We've got indexing to do.
We've got Google projects for you, podcast listeners.
Yeah. Plus we need theme music first. So, continuing.
Oh, and I was going to say that pretty much closes out Act 1, and then Act 2 starts with Homer just seemingly stumbling by the Ripwitch. I thought they would have had a scene with him, like, excitedly waiting
For like Krusty Burger to open.
Yeah, and it just sort of seemed weird that, especially after the setup, that him drooling over the ad.
And Krusty's line, I don't mind the taste.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, letter grade meat. Love that. Yeah, and then he meets the mascot that's covered in.
Yeah, no.
Wait.
Try the sauce. I'm soaked in it.
Wait, what is it?
And
What's this
the
letter grade
children
mean?
think
You
I'm
say-
a failure.
and then we process the crap out of it or something?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Letter grade meat. Then we process the crap out of it.
Yeah.
I think the thing with Ribwitch is, and this was we discovered while we were away, that I had no idea that it was such a late season. Is that the scene where Homer buys it and then his pupils
The Requiem
expand? It's
for
a
a Dream.
requiem. That is such an iconic scene.
Yeah.
And that is really what you remember most because it's the Ribwitch episode. And no
Yeah.
one gives a shit about what Lisa's doing. And so I think what happens is that when you're talking about Homer dancing excitedly at the front of the shop is that we probably blend a few scenes in what we think would make a better episode.
That's true. You skip out the parts that you don't care about.
Yeah.
And
And-
then you remember the fun. Because there's a lot of quotes out of this one.
Yeah.
I will say, which is interesting.
My
Yeah.
favorite quote from this one is, "I have the buyer's remorse." I say it all the time.
I really like
But I
and
remember everything else.
it's actually it's terrible and it's stupid, but I genuinely like and a hot plate.
I know.
Yeah.
Like,
That's one where I get the rhythm of it in my
Yeah,
head.
no, it's one where
Yeah.
the rhythm
Free
is just fun to
college.
throw
Free
in.
college. Yeah.
And a
what-
hot plate. And it's his face on the box. And it
Yeah.
makes no sense, and it's not a good bit, but I love it.
Good old George Plimpton.
We don't know who he is.
Like you just want to inject it to any kind of like discussion you don't like.
Yeah.
If anyone's going on, well, I feel like this summer round will be maybe summering in Nepal and a hot plate. Anytime you're bored, just throw it in.
George Plimpton was a journalist who died in 2003.
Aw.
Like
Wrote Paper Lion, Confessions of a...
Wow, that would not have been far after this episode aired.
No. So there you go.
Interesting.
He wrote a lot of sports journalist stuff. So there you go.
That kind of fits
I
in
didn't
with
know about him. Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, that whole sequence with Homer first having the rib, which is very iconic. You got
Requiem of the Dream sequence.
Yeah, got the Requiem for a Dream thing, and you got the crazy guy covered in barbecue sauce going, and yet my family still don't respect me.
Why does it sound like Snagglepuss? That's not explained. Anyway,
maybe it is Snagglepuss, and he just.
I don't even know what the dude is. He's
It's
just
a frog.
He's a frog.
That's why his sash
says ribbit.
So he's a frog covered in...
missed
It must be that frog that goes extinct. Think smaller, think more legs.
Yeah.
More legs than a cow?
Well, maybe it is a particular type of frog with extra legs.
Yeah, like the millipede frog.
Yeah, the center frog.
No thanks.
Yeah, and then there's a quick jump back to the A story where Lisa's become state champ, and she's thrilled because she finally has a cheering section.
Yep.
And then we see Homer's cheering section,
I love
which
Homer's
is
cheering.
another
You
good
tell
gag.
him, mate. Yeah, you ain't so good.
So then we cut back to the Krusty Burger and we find out, oh no, the ribwich has been for a limited time owned.
Which is a very short run of like one day. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is literally the very next scene that he goes back for his next ribwich. That
To like show his friends. I love how like proud he is. He's like 3 whibwiches because he's like, yeah, I'm gonna show Lenny.
Yeah. And then get a blended ribwich in lieu of a shake.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that bit's all very like they do speed through the plot in both of these stories, but
There's a lot to cover, I think.
Yeah, I don't think it's for the detriment. I still really like this episode.
How much time do you want to spend watching Lisa spell? Like, enough to make a plot, but no more.
I've seen 30 years of Lisa spelling. I don't need to watch
it's
anymore.
fine. We know. She's smart. Shut up.
Yeah.
But they do manage to pull like a lot of good gags out of it, surprisingly, with something as boring as spelling. Like,
I don't know whether the weather will improve.
That's another one you always say.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, it's a weirdly quotable episode.
It is.
And I love all the Lisa running through town and spelling gags as well.
Yeah.
Spell AC/DC. You forgot lightning bolt.
Everyone does.
Yep.
I feel like anything with Cletus in it that wasn't just a one-off joke once, anything past that is too many. And I'm kind of like...
Yeah, normally you're not that thrilled to see him in the new episodes, but this one was good,
The
you know.
most you want out of Cletus is, "Hey, Ma, get off the dang roof."
Yeah,
Yeah, this one. Yeah, we got a middle name for you. You ain't supposed to hold it like that.
Yeah, actually, that bit was good. Yeah.
Oh, and the other spelling gag, which I love and I quote endlessly, and is Milhouse spelling choke. You know, spell choke. Oh, that's easy. F. Oh.
Don't laugh. It will scar him forever.
I kind of like the follow-up of, "No, children, stop laughing. It'll scar him forever." Well, it is kind of infectious.
And release the bees.
Yeah.
To start off the Spell Olympics.
It's kind of sad considering, bees are going
Yeah,
extinct.
it just reminds
in
it reminds me of my
today's-
favorite GIF of all time, which is Oprah releasing bees.
Yeah.
You got bees.
You got bees.
Still my favorite of all time.
Yeah. And so to bring the two storylines together, Homer keeps ditching out on Lisa's spelling tournaments
To
by
with the ribwitch.
to go get the ribwitch because it's been about 3 days since he's had one. Oh, I'm getting the shakes. Ooh, I'm also getting the fries.
Yeah.
Love
That's
joke.
a joke that's somewhere between lame and actually really funny.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
brilliant. It is. It is the gold standard of.
All right. Well, I know how you feel about it.
Someone really likes a joke.
I know.
To close out the A story in the second act, Lisa gets asked to throw the match. Ooh, it's another one of these throw the match.
This actually really bugs me because, in the third act, she goes to spell, Homer comes back, and she's all like, "With you, I can't fail," and tells her about how she was told to take a dive. Just say nothing, you idiot. If you win, you win. If you don't win, you still get college. Just say nothing.
But the thing is, if you don't say it first, though, and you stuff it up, then it seems like an excuse later on. But if you say it first... it's at least you got even if I got it wrong, I told you about it first, blah, 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 blah. I think...
I don't get your meaning.
I'm just saying, it's a
could
better
win-
strategy. Like, if you lose and then you say it afterwards, everyone's going
Why
to
would
go,
I say
yeah,
it-
of course you would say it. Yeah, you
Why
were
would I
asked
say it
to
afterwards? I would just lose and get the college and pretend
Well,
like
yeah,
I threw
fair
it.
enough. Yeah, okay, good point.
What were you going to say, Shayna?
I was going to say, it's the typical thing of Lisa always doing the annoyingly right thing.
Yeah.
And you're just like, just shut up.
It also bugs me when Mr. Burns' slurry she could have gotten $10 million by just saying nothing.
Yeah.
And it's like, he's already done the evil thing.
Yeah.
To not take that money gives him $10 million, not you.
Yeah, but she didn't want to take his blood money, essentially.
It's already covered in blood. You're not adding blood to it by taking it.
I think Lisa is always the kind of the moral center in terms of like she does to do what's right, and she's got these absolute rules about her ethics.
No, that's fine.
I feel like she can't do it.
And I agree with that. I'm just saying it's ethically wrong to give Mr. Burns $10 million to do more evil than it is to take it away from him, even if it was ill-begotten.
Yeah, I suppose
because it's already done at this point.
You could spend that money on cleaning up the ocean or something like that. Yeah.
So, fun fact, my mum, who knows a fair bit of The Simpsons the first decade because I used to watch it religiously.
Yeah, because anyone who listens to this podcast would know that your dad wouldn't let you watch it,
yeah,
but
that's
your
right.
mum would. Not like that's me or anything.
No.
I'm going to drink.
My mum hates Lisa because she's such a do-gooder. And whenever my mum sees a do-gooder character on another TV show, mum's like, oh, she's so annoying. She reminds me of Lisa Simpson. My mum hates her because of this do-gooder thing of always, like, she could have just spelled the word wrong and then gotten away with it and then shut the fuck up, and then she would have lost honestly.
Yep.
And then still ended up with
still
something.
got the windfall.
Yeah.
And,
But yeah, it sort of seemed weird that they set up the whole thing with like Homer constantly abandoning, but Lisa not seemingly to give a shit too much about it.
she didn't really care until the big day, I suppose. Maybe.
Well, until he was back.
Yeah.
Like, really.
You're number one on my menu, sweetie.
that was cute.
Pretty cute.
That is, yeah.
But yeah, and the whole sequence with Homer giving up the rib, which I thought was great, you know. With the guy saying, I'll give you the Lisa to my car. Lisa! Like, that was a perfect, like, use of, like, a bad accent. Like,
Yeah. And yeah, like you said, quoting before, I have the buyer's remorse.
yeah.
We give you three nights and 4 days at a country company of your choice in the lower 48 states. Blackout periods. What a great deal.
Yep,
Man.
sounds like every deal ever.
Yeah.
And so we were talking about music before with I Put a Spell on You. They did like this weird montage, but they didn't do anything with it, so I'm going to call it a non-tage.
Listeners, I'm now leaning over and hitting Elliot with my notebook.
I am trying to get through this.
Get closer.
I'm surprisingly sweaty. I'm going to ruin your notebook for
Readers,
indexers
I'm
to
now
come.
wiping my notebook on Jordan.
So there was this montage where they played that, y'all ready for this? And it was just over like 2 scenes of Bart going, holding up a sign that says, I'm missing school. And then the cute kid blowing bubblegum ball. And then
Alex.
Yeah, Alec, that's right. And then they do...
And Thwax. So cute.
And yeah, then it's, like you were saying, Lisa does that thing where she... It's like, oh, I'm not going to throw this context because blah, 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 blah. I was asked to throw it and...
Nope, just shut up. My notes just say, just shut up.
Spells the word wrong, but then they bring it round to a cool thing at the end where the town congratulates her for being number 2.
Huh.
No, I like that bit. I think they overdo it by having them make him Mount Rushmore ahead of her.
The rock face was too
Yeah.
much.
That was too much.
And then it just ends on that, and you're like, oh, okay.
So we're going to see
That's
that
it.
next episode. That's canon now. That's there.
Yeah, I didn't realize The Simpsons backed onto a friggin' mountain. But then I guess they do because, like Krusty fakes his own death by flying into the mountain.
They have the murder horn. They have
Yeah.
Old Man Mountain.
Yeah, it was a bit weird.
It is a
wasn't
bit weird.
But they still had the cool thing where the town was so stoked with her, and Skinner goes, now 2 cheers for Lisa for being second. And then, now deep breath and quiet. Yeah, so I really liked it. All right, think that about covers it. Ready for the questionnaire?
Well, I'm ready.
All right.
Oh, I was born ready.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, it's true. You can run up to her and just fire a questionnaire at Shayna at any point at any day. She will be ready.
So,
I've tried.
do y'all remember watching this back in the day?
I obviously do, but actually, you know what? I have transposed a different scene into this episode, but I always thought this was the one where she was like, struggling with her conscience about, do I want to go to, the university, or do I want to win the contest or whatever? Mm-hmm. And I thought that's when she went to the Jefferson memorial,
no,
then to think about what you want to do. And I was like, I don't know why.
Contest.
Yeah.
Wow, that's like super early.
Yeah. And so I was like, wait, is this the one? Have I missed it? And then realized obviously it's a completely different episode.
Because of course when we were in Washington at the Jefferson Memorial, continually quoting The Simpsons.
Yeah.
He should be like, I know your problem. The Lincoln Memorial was too full.
Was at the Jefferson
Honestly,
Memorial
Jefferson Memorial was like 4 other people. That was it.
Oh, I didn't do anything much. Just a Declaration of Independence.
What about you, Shayna? Do you remember watching this one back in the day? 2003, by the way, is when this first aired, so probably 2004 for Australia.
I don't remember watching it, but it is in my brain.
Yeah.
I don't remember the first time I watched it, but it's there.
Yeah.
But I could not have watched it that often. So, yes.
It's a weird anomaly like that.
Yeah, I'm not much the same way. I know I've seen it. I couldn't tell you the first, I would have been out of high school by those points. There was no showing up the next day and talking about it.
Sure.
Because, that went away.
So approximate play count's probably 1, 2, if that.
I'm going to say 3,
Probably
4.
Yeah, I'd
one,
say
I
3 or
think.
4.
It comes up every now and then.
Yeah.
And you stick around and go, boo.
Yeah, I really
And a hot plate.
I really associate this one with my first years of having Foxtel and Simpsons binges on weekends and things like that.
Nodding.
Yeah.
Yes, quiet agreement.
So I don't know. I reckon I've probably seen this about 15 or 20 times, maybe. Do you see yourself watching this episode again?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe, if it's on.
I probably wouldn't hunt it out.
No.
But if it's on, I'll be like, you know what, I will sit down and watch this one.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't actively skip it, but I wouldn't actively seek it out either.
If I'm walking past a couch and it's on and that couch has space in my feet to go up, yeah.
And maybe some potato chips in a bowl on the coffee table.
And I'd be like, who put this? I live alone. What is going on?
Thanks, Ghost.
You're all right, Ghost. Ghost get a bad rap, but did you buy these? Because I didn't buy potato chips.
Ooh, Red Rock, you went all out.
Well, in that extremely likely scenario, I can see myself watching again, definitely.
For sure.
Let's talk about wackiness. Other than all the ribwitch sequences, wasn't terribly wacky.
No, but you could feel it starting to lose its way. You could feel the jokes that didn't go anywhere and the jokes that were maybe more obvious than they used to be.
Yeah,
Sure.
I think you had a good point in your recollection. You build a better episode from just remembering the good parts and not realizing there's a lot of pretty weak jokes connecting those parts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or even surrounding them. I do really like Booberella, but all the other jokes in that segment are really boring.
No, absolutely. Yeah, and even when she's at the state level for the spelling bee and there's Chalmers and Skinner banter there, I wasn't really feeling that either.
Yeah.
I think potentially one of the more clever, and tell me if I'm wrong, because I was painting my nails at the beginning of this because I got an office job now. But I thought potentially that part of the joke in that Booberella section at the very beginning was that you were supposed to believe that Frankenstein was actually Ray Romano. That's how I read the joke. It was like
No, I see what you mean.
And then it was like, oh, and then there's Ray Romano.
Yeah. It was set up like we were just about to see Ray Romano, but they showed Frankenstein's monster, and it was.
Yeah, and then Ray Romano's the referee, and he's like, "Hey, Frankenstein, my brother's tall."
Yeah, my brother is tall. What is that 30 Rock?
Oh, Linda.
Yeah, no, it is. It's 30 Rock.
Oh my God, I thought that was a farce.
No, it's me doing
Listeners, that
doing
was
Josh,
just
doing
Jordan's
Ray
face.
Romano.
Actually, do you know what?
No, there's a good game. Is it a fart or Ray Romano?
Yeah.
Although I can't remember where I was. I think I must have been in. I think I was in Germany. When I was in Germany last year, there was only one English TV station. There were all the British TV stations. So it was like BBC One, BBC Two, ITV, Channel 4, whatever. And I caught a couple of old episodes of Everybody Loves Raymond, and they weren't too bad.
Really?
Actually, looking back on some of them, there were some pretty funny jokes in there.
It was always okay.
It was okay,
But I swear to God, the dad had different writers because his material was actually good.
His material was the best.
Yeah. But everything else is just, my brother's tall.
Yeah.
My wife's more attractive than I could possibly do in real life.
I had a question. There was a couple of things that just I didn't get about the episode. Not jokes that I didn't necessarily get, but just
points.
why were they there?
Yeah.
There's the bit where like, oh, are you excited about going back to school? This year you'll learn about local history, and then just cuts to the thing. And I'm like, is that a joke? I don't understand.
It feels like a joke that got cut, essentially.
It's like I didn't get it, but anyway, that's fine.
Unless it was meant to be a joke about how Springfield has crappy local history, but then there's setup there, but there's no delivery. But
they've actually got a pretty interesting local, like with Jeopardy Springfield and everything, it's pretty interesting.
It could have been that the ad with a poo in it was supposed to lead on to a bit.
Yeah.
Look, it wasn't the strongest way to set up the stories, which is what, to its credit, it was trying to do, and what a lot of newer, badder episodes don't do is set up the stories properly.
Yeah. And then almost immediately following that, there's the bit where it's like, oh, can't wait to stuff that in my colon or whatever he says. And he goes, hey man, you got to lay off the fatty foods. Hey, they're running out of leg veins to put into your heart. And he goes, I got arm veins, don't I? Yeah. Yes, sir. Like, why is Bart suddenly scared of him at that point?
It feels like it's going to be a why you little moment, and it just becomes this, I got arm veins. And like,
but he doesn't even say it aggressively. He goes, I got arm veins, don't I? Like, really,
yes,
like,
sir.
happily?
Yeah,
and he's like, yes, sir.
It feels like another
I don't understand
joke.
that. It was weird. I didn't
just the remnants around that are still there, but yeah, it does feel very off. In fact, thinking of the beginning of this is really weak.
And then, actually...
the episode doesn't kick off proper until they get to school. Like, they could have done without the whole TV bit, like, at the start.
Because, again, well, I mean, not that it's it's a problem I have with another bit in that section, which is like, oh, another, like, burger sandwich. Why do Americans call burgers sandwiches? I get it that it's the equivalent of a sandwich, but a burger is different to a sandwich, goddammit.
About this before, I can't remember who it was with.
I think that we may have had this conversation in Orlando, to be honest.
I think us two have had this conversation, but I find
oh my god, it's like that fucking conversation you keep making me have is like, is a milkshake soup?
No,
a milkshake is not soup.
I didn't say milkshake, not soup. I said is a hot dog a sandwich?
You've also asked me if a milkshake is soup.
I like the idea of being able to go to a restaurant, order the soup, and just get thick shake.
Or being upset when
what's the soup of the day?
Arrive.
Caramel ice cream.
Oh yes, please.
But do you eat it with a spoon or a straw? That's the question. Anyway.
Oh Jesus, kill me.
Calling burgers sandwiches, but then she calls it a burger sandwich as well, which is
you're doubling down.
That's a regional dialect.
I personally feel, and I swear to God I've had this conversation, a sandwich is anything between bread. The subsection of sandwich becomes hot dog and burger.
Okay, yep, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, that's my feeling.
And sorry, just one last really quick question. When he goes, I suppose I could just, marry Milhouse. Is what I took from that, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that is Milhouse's dad still in charge of the cracker factory at this stage, or in line to run it? No. So
he's destitute.
Okay. Well, so I'm trying to think is because it feels like she's going to marry Milhouse because he's going to be rich or something. Like, why else would?
No, I think marrying Milhouse is the wearing Crocs of marriage.
Yeah.
Like, you just do it just because, fine, I give up, and this may as well just slip into something comfortable and boring.
That's exactly what I took from it as well.
Right.
It's just like, well, this is what I'll do now.
This is defeat. This is sandals and socks.
Yeah.
But, okay. And also, that sequence wasn't particularly strong either. The whole Millhouse.
I do like the bubble shrinks. It's funny enough.
Yeah.
Oh,
it'll do. It'll pass the time before I die. What else is there? What else is there in life?
Wow, that's the Crocs of joke.
So that's why I was thinking if Milsa's dad was still in the cracker factory, it's like, oh, okay, she's got a plan to marry rich.
Up. No.
And then
later on during the divorce episode, you hear Luann say something effective. I saw a man who took the number 2 cracker factory in the country and drove it into the ground. So he's ruined it by being a Van Houten.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
So let's talk about the heart. Now, I don't think this episode had a deep amount of heart.
No, it's got the visage of having heart between...
Yeah, it's got the story beats of having heart.
The fact that, Homer comes back, but it's so minimal.
He only comes back after there are no more sandwiches anyway.
Yeah.
And she only really cares when he shows up. Like, she kind of gives a bit of, you're going to miss my big day? And he's like, sorry, honey. Bye.
Yeah.
But it's so half-assed as well. She's like...
I'd rather have them cut the whole TV bit at the beginning and at the end have a bit where Homer does miss the spelling bee and then has a reconciliation moment with Lisa a la Mr. Bergstrom. Something like that. That would have more heart for me.
Yeah. Or if there was just one more spelling bee event where, he wasn't there and she was really bummed about it and she didn't do as well or something. I don't know. There are easy fixes to give this episode more heart.
But I guess I feel like they've done that a few times in the past as well, like Homer Show.
True,
like with
where it's been more reconciliation.
Yeah,
Mr.
like
Bergstrom and Daddy-Daughter Day. And true, they've done it before.
But it's
It just
still
works
nice.
better.
It's a nice, warm, fuzzy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Although I do like Homer shows up and says, "Hi, Sudie, I made it to your dance recital."
Yeah.
Still doesn't know what's going on, but is there anyway.
No, it's sweet, but it's stupid as well. So ultimately, did this feel like an episode of The Simpsons to you?
Close, but no cigar.
This is getting into zombie Simpsons territory.
Yeah.
This is
Sure.
like feels when it
This is where it's not. Yeah, it's not gone yet, but it's bitten and it's sweating and it's got some dark.
Well, yeah,
circles
to
under
the
its
credits.
eyes.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the plot beats of like a deep Homer Lisa, sob story, but
Yeah, without that
ultimately
extra
neither
effort
of them
to
really
get there.
cared.
Yeah.
So yeah, they were doing the plot beats, but so yeah, to your credit, that is a bit zombie Simpsons. Yeah.
It was strange as well because it was like an episode where Bart is like coming off second best to a lot of people as well. Like he's trying to make jokes and Nelson hits him. Then he goes, "You're an aceros," and then like Frank's like, "Oh, really? He has the properties of a pine needle."
Yeah, but
and then you're like, "Come on, man! I've got a Game Boy. This is all
No,
I got."
I do like his redemption on that. Is that his point is, I know it's not great, but I got nothing else going on.
Yeah. But
Exactly,
look,
like, pay
integrity-wise, all the characters are there. All the characters are being themselves.
Yeah, true. I don't think anyone feels out of place.
But yeah, a bit zombie syndrome. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Lackluster. It's,
Any other quotable moments?
Yes.
Most
Aw, he's adorable. I'd sure like to tuck him in at night.
Yeah.
Now you just like crosses her arms.
That's like, it's just a funny, cute Marge line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the bit where Krusty rolls up to the crowd and Otto thinks he's the drive-through booth.
Yeah.
Starts yelling into his mouth.
Yep, I do like animal we made it from is extinct. Think smaller. Think more legs. Is a bit I like.
Yeah. This I quote all the time. Marge goes, "Oh, it's okay. I'll save money by giving piano lessons." And Lisa's like, "You don't know how to play piano." Marge is like, "Just have to say one lesson ahead of the kid." Always quote that one. That is such a good
And
line.
as I said, I still enjoy and a hot plate.
On that same vein, like, I'll be queen of the world of spelling.
Yeah.
But still, queen of the world of spelling.
I think we've all been there where we're like, yes, this is great. And within this one confines.
Yeah.
I think we've all done
I
that.
just remember one of the, "Lisa, may I see you privately for a moment?" "Oh, this can only be good."
Nothing bad ever happens behind closed doors.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when they're coming back home and Homer's in the car and saying, "Oh, screw it, Lisa, you know what? You're the best speller in this car and this car, and don't look at that car." Great.
Actually, I was going to say what is it? He spelled, "Little Miss thinks she's so big." Okay,
Yeah.
Okay, fine. I can't stick around for this. I got a bar to run.
Yeah.
So, what am I doing here?
RELASPE. That's what beer has done to me. Suck it to me, suck it to me, suck it to me.
Yeah.
Let's rank this thing. Kick it off. Beach.
Tough, because I was starting at a silver, but then I feel like, again, it's the syndrome where I've pieced together the parts I like and not really appreciated the episode as a whole. And I think it just has a really weak opening and a weak ending. However, it is a really quotable episode. So it's tough. I'm going to go with bronze, I think. I just feel like it's so close to being a silver, but if it just a few more punchier bits, a tighter story, I think I could have been on board.
Wow.
It is weirdly iconic for something I will bronze, though. Like, the rib witch is something even people who gave up on The Simpsons after season 9 still know about the rib witch, and they know the reference. And I still weirdly love and a hot plate.
All right.
But
Bronze for
I think
you.
I'm going to stick to that.
All
I
right.
think I'm sticking on bronze.
How about you, Jordan?
Yeah, I'm going to give it bronze as well. Like, I kind of came in at a bronze as well, and then having watched it, I remember the good bits are good, and the bad bits are just kind of mediocre. The episode as a whole still feels a little bit flat for me, but they include the word phallus in the thing.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like, you replace my tennis racket with a rubber phallus. It's like, yeah. So there you go. You get a bronze just for including the word phallus.
Wow, that's
It really
the benchmark.
doesn't take much, does it?
No. How about you, Shayna? Where's your ranking, Shayna?
Well, I came into this episode with really high expectations because I didn't remember the last time I watched it. So I was coming into it giving it a silver. Because I came into it with those high expectations and the memories, because I have the buyer's remorse. I was really disappointed watching it, but I wonder if my disappointment was just because I had such high expectations. Yeah. So upon review, I'm giving it a bronze participant. Because I can't decide whether the participant is
like
just because I'm so bitterly disappointed or if it's because it's not my favorite. If it's okay.
So is that a bronze or a participant?
I'm telling you, it's a bronze
You
participant.
can't. You gotta choose. Okay.
If you need more thinking time, we can have a quick little interlude.
You know what? I should probably give it a bronze because there's always worse. So
Okay, so give it bronze for. I just remember the other joke. This was in business use. 3M and M&M have merged to form. Get this, Ultradyne Systems.
I did as a misdirect of a joke. Yeah.
Well, look, at the base level, a bronze is one you'd at least watch again. And you all said you'd watch it again.
That's
so
true.
Yeah, that's true.
look,
I like how you're bringing that up as like evidence against us.
yeah, I know.
And previously you
all
said you would
this.
watch it again. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this is a bronze.
as far as I'm concerned, it's a silver.
Oh, okay.
Like,
So I can respect that. Like I said, it's a very quotable episode. It is a lot of fun. It's just not as tight.
well, look, and the difference between like gold, silver, and bronze, it's 3 different kinds of good, you know. And,
Yeah.
And I have fun watching this episode. Yeah, weak story-wise, but, you know, pretty impressive joke-wise. And, yeah, I still consider it the silver excellent standard. All right?
Mm-hmm.
No one reconsidering there?
No, I think we're all good.
No, I mean, I guess you probably know maybe better than us because I haven't seen. I don't think maybe the whole of season 14 even. So you can compare it to is it better or worse than other episodes in the season?
Off the standard, I'd say.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'd say, like, most season 14 episodes hover around the goodness of this one.
Okay. Is there a sharp dip after 12? Because I don't think I've really seen.
The sharp dip is 15.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's when the production on the movie starts.
Right. Gotcha.
And it all goes to crap.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of which, we're going to watch 5 episodes from season 17 now. No. We're going to watch season 4, episode 13, Selma's Choice, a.k.a. Duff Gardens.
I really like the idea of doing 5 from 17 and just have a Wastelands episode.
And then just one by one, just murder-suicide pact.
Yeah. Well, obviously.
Yeah.
That's the way these things go.
You'd have to. Like, season 17 is bad.
Yeah, it's just like a Band-Aid. Rip it off.
Yeah. I'd actually like that.
Yeah,
Anyway.
Look, find a day, a weekend, we'll just get real fucked up.
Just do a DVD disc.
And then we can watch Phantom Menace right afterwards.
Hurt me more, please.
Sup?
Let's do this. And we are back, and we just watched season 4, episode 13, Selma's Choice, the Duff Gardens one. Guys, what'd you think?
Great. Classic.
Yep, it is pure classic.
Total classic. Now, just to get this out of the way, like, I'd kind of say, yeah, it's the Duff Gardens episode, but I was surprised in the rewatch. Duff Gardens makes up about 1 act.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot more going on than you remember.
Yeah. So, yeah, all be told, yeah, the episode's called Selma's Choice, and it is mostly about Selma.
Yeah.
And I got to say, even though it is sort of about a few different things, the episode does have a logical through line where they're getting ready to go to Duff Gardens, and then they don't because Aunt Gladys died. Aunt Gladys gives a word of warning to Selma and Patty to have kids, and then she wants to have kids. Then she starts looking for a man or sperm, and then takes the kids
it's the
out.
same thing, technically.
And yeah, it takes the Bart and Lisa out to Duff Gardens because Homer got sick.
I'm
And
eating a sandwich.
Yep, and then the episode wraps with Selma realizing that a giant lizard was all she really wanted or needed.
Yeah.
Tiny
It's
version
touching,
of
really.
her. Yeah.
Yeah. Tiny version of her she can hold in her arms.
Yep. But yeah, just kicking off the episode was a commercial about Duff Gardens, so foreshadowing the third act. And
That's like Busch Gardens, right?
It was kind of
It's
a
like a
mashup.
play
I
on
think,
Busch
of it.
Gardens.
Yeah,
what's
yeah.
Busch Gardens?
Because Busch Gardens is another theme park, but like
It's not
Busch,
really a
like
theme park, it's
Anheuser.
just a roller coaster park.
Yeah, but Anheuser Busch is like a brewery company.
Is it really?
Anheuser-Busch. Yeah,
Is that
they
where
do.
Busch Gardens comes from?
Yeah, I'm pretty
Oh.
sure. Like BUSCH.
It makes sense. I mean, it was an amalgamation of a few
Hold on.
different things. It definitely had some Disney
Googling
references.
things on.
Yeah, I
do
thought
your
it-
theme song.
Googling things on the Simpsons Index.
Thank you.
But yeah, the Disney. See, we don't need the music because usually I just delete all the stuff where we're staring at phones and I just speed it right along to where we discovered
Yeah, because
it.
you didn't have theme music. Now you do. Boom, boom.
So anyway, in the Duff Gardens ad, they do the Whiplash roller coaster that goes up to the clouds and says, to
Yeah.
be completed construction with blah, blah, blah.
1994.
Now, we were saying before that wasn't a reference to something in the Simpsons ride, and that's, okay, that was a
I
direct...
don't think it's intentional. I think it's just two rides that go to the clouds. I do not think they planned that.
Well, yeah, because the other one, it wasn't. It didn't lead on to that roller coaster not being completed.
You didn't go to Duff Gardens after that. It was just a roller
No,
coaster in the sky.
that's true.
I think
Here
it
you
was just
go.
a coincidence.
Again,
Sorry,
another thing that we could have done to make the Simpsons ride better.
Just going back, Busch Gardens is the name of two amusement parks in the United States. Originally
United
developed.
States.
United States.
God, you sound like me.
Initially developed as marketing vehicles for Anheuser-Busch and featured hospitality houses with a sample of Anheuser-Busch products. Included stables that housed many of the company's Clydesdale horses.
What is it with American beer and Clydesdales?
Budweiser, Stella Artois, and Banks are all their products.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, and that was around back in like 1992 or 3 when this episode was aired.
Yeah.
Oh, how about
Speaking of
that?
94.
I really thought they were just doing a Disney
Yeah,
parallel.
because they've got, Duff Beer for me, and it's like, that's obviously, it's a small world. They've got the parades where Lisa can see the music, and that's very,
Which is
you're
very
saying that
Disney.
music is even...
It's very similar to the original Electric Light Parade music that is now defunct from Disney World and also
Defunct.
it's
Gone,
just it's
phased
gone
out.
now. It's phased out. It's very similar to that music.
And let's not forget the 7 Duffs, an obvious 7 dwarves stand-in.
And they had those in Simpsons World as well. That was a great touch.
Yeah.
What are the other 3?
Yeah, no, they only show 5. And
4?
4.
Yeah.
Let's find that out.
Are you googling something?
Next
for the
time
Simpsons
on
Index
Googling on the
ability?
Simpsons Index.
Yeah, I'm looking it up.
Ti-
Tipsy, queasy, surly, sleazy, edgy, dizzy, and remorseful.
Edgy, dizzy, and sleazy. I don't think were featured on this episode.
Sleazy was.
Yeah, wow.
But anyway, so kicking off the episode, they see the ad for Duff Gardens, and of course, in impulsive Homer fashion, no, we're going, kids. They're getting ready, and then they get told that Great Aunt Gladys has died. And I love this bit where they have the kids acting all mature and like
these things
thoughtful.
happen, and you can go some other time. It's just, I want to go to Duff Gardens. I'm not pouting. You're pouting.
I'm mourning.
I'm mourning.
Such classic Homer stuff there.
Absolutely.
Legend of the dog-faced woman.
Yeah, and then they pull over, and they're pull over. My butt's asleep, and it's like Homer's trying to solve the maze.
Yeah.
Another placemat, sir. Please.
Yeah.
It's that dignified moment. Please.
I realize though that it's a lot of American TV shows. Do people actually do open casket funerals?
It's an American thing.
Yeah, very American thing. I've been to one in Australia. It's weird.
I just don't ever want to have that.
It's a body.
Yeah, please no.
No, it's
Never.
yeah, it's very common for Americans.
Just
so.
burn me first. And then it can be.
And then we'll look at the ashes.
Yeah.
Something that I noticed in this episode that I guess I hadn't noticed before is how much of an asshole the Simpson family is to Marge. Like singing those songs, her auntie has just died.
Yeah.
And it's you're sort of like, oh my god, you guys are a bunch of insensitive little shits. And sometimes it's obviously comedy and it's funny, but then sometimes it makes you really feel for Marge. And I guess I hadn't noticed it before. Yeah, she's very put upon.
So I'm guessing it's her mum's sister. It's all their mum's sisters.
Yeah, great
right?
aunt. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Gladys or whatever. One of the few other characters that Jelly Kavner voices.
Yep.
Is her and her own mother.
With a really growly voice.
Except she stopped doing it because her voice hurts too much.
Oh, that would hurt. Yeah.
Yeah, Marge's mum only makes a couple more appearances throughout the series, and even like actual Marge sounds so old now.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah, she sounds
Well,
terrible.
she's got to be what, 65, 70 now, Julie Kavner, surely.
Probably.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, she was around in she was famous in the 60s and 70s, like doing film, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So anyway, they get in the car and they go on a road trip to the funeral to pick up Patty and Selma. That led to them at showing the time and having Patty and Selma smoking in the car. And man, I actually remember this with family road trips and stuff, and having not my parents but my uncle smoking in the car, and it
really
just being a normal standard thing to have the kids around.
Well, that's kind of a thing that you wouldn't get from a modern animation, is any character smoking, especially that much, without constantly referencing.
No, they struggle with it with Patty and Selma these days.
Yeah.
Like, they struggle with storylines with them.
I wonder if there's government regulation around.
I mean, probably, but that's the thing. In The Simpsons, it was never shown as a positive, or even not entirely shown as a negative either. It was just something they did.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I think it is negative because, like, you know, when he puts the beer goggles on and she's like that typical kind of barfly.
That's more her being gross, not gross because she smokes.
Yeah.
But, no. But I think it's a part of her. It's central to her thing. Is like, she's very. It's kind of like it's a sleazy thing. Like they think they're very like sensual and sexy by smoking.
Yeah, like when she ties the cigarette into it.
Yeah.
Oh, in that dating video, that's so disgusting.
Back to the loch with you, Nessie.
Yeah.
Looking at a free lunch, boys.
So before we got to that, we had the funeral scene and a bunch of Bart larrikinisms, and I liked those, fucking with Lisa.
There is actually a bit that I got it later, but when I was a kid, the first time I watched this, when someone takes over the eulogy and goes, "She wasn't a rich woman," and everyone leaves.
And
when I was a kid, I thought that was a reaction to, we're just going to go through this long story about how she wasn't.
Oh, right.
But when I watched it a bit older, I'm like, oh, inheritance.
Yeah. And then, she goes, "But she was rich in spirit," or whatever, and the guy comes back, "I forgot my hat." Perfect.
I just realized as well it's probably not intentionally linked, but at the very start the blackboard gag is I won't call out, she's dead in roll call during roll call.
Maybe.
Anyway, keep going.
Sly little thing. Yeah. So then they're in the will rating with Lionel Hutz.
Yeah, I love that.
She made a video will. I earned my fee by pushing this button.
Yeah, and this has him dubbing over her.
Yeah.
I leave my attorney, Lionel Hutz, $10,000. You'd be stunned how often that works. You really would.
Yeah, and I love the celebrity chips as well. That's just a great visual bit to me, and of course Homer eats them.
Yeah. No, like how he realizes them, but doesn't give like a and keeps eating them. It's like, and just keeps eating them anyway.
It's almost like, I've come this far, may as well.
No, not even that. There's the recognition, and then he just keeps doing it. Like, doesn't even, not even may as well.
Is this an Iwo Jima chip? Doesn't matter. Eating it, yeah.
And in a classic Simpsons repeating gag, and we've all got it in our heads, do it now! Now! Hey, free grandfather clock.
Yep.
So, and then Selma sets up on a series of misadventures on dating. And
speaking of that, sorry, just really quickly, because I noticed she sometimes wears the S earrings, and sometimes she doesn't. She wears just round ones, and I didn't know if there's any like significance to any of that. Because Patty always seems to wear long triangles.
All right.
And Selma is wearing an S sometimes, but then not at other times. I just didn't know if there's anything.
Just a circle. I think fancy Selma is circle, and everyday Selma is S.
Okay.
So when she's going on dates, I think they're circular.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, because she doesn't really need to separate herself from her twin when she's on a solo date.
Yeah, because they do look exactly the same.
Exactly.
They are meant to be twins, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
They're meant to be identical twins as well. Like,
Gotcha.
Here's a photo of me in Egypt on a bicycle with my twin sister. I forget which one I have.
Yeah. But, and it's a good thing she didn't end up with Molman, because he might have mistaken her for Patty then.
Sorry. I love the whole Hans Molman bit.
It is just
Q7 smiley face, yellow.
Chicken, yellow, mailman. That's the wine list, sir. Very good.
I love that.
And then her imagining the kids as well.
Yeah, it's like one just rolls out the window. Yeah.
It's such a good bit.
Yeah, just top to bottom, the whole Selma and Molman. I just love it. And then, she goes through to do artificial insemination, and Homer has that line about
Doing it with a robot.
Marge
knew
whispers. I knew that. And what was the sign gag you pointed out when she does go to the fertility clinic?
Put your sperm in our hands.
It's like a little iconograph of like two hands, like cupped. Like that.
And then she comes back with the brochure, which is 150 ice pops.
Oh yeah, ice pops, 101 ice pops, and it's got like NBA All Star, all that.
And showing that Barney just did a drop off there.
Yeah.
We have a very thorough, strict screening process.
We've discussed before that maybe Nelson is Barney's kid from artificial insemination.
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, they look similar.
Yep.
Wait, do you see Nelson's dad ever though?
We do eventually. It's really stupid though.
Yeah.
So
Wait,
I'd rather.
Is that the one with the boxing? Oh no, it's the three other bullies' dads, isn't it? Beating up Homer.
Yeah. No, it's
so
the
But
other
they
one
do,
convoluted.
even
stupid.
earlier, they do reference his dad, but they don't show you it's Barney, so.
No. The theory works up until the episode when they do show you Nelson's dad, and it's a bad
But
storyline.
that's post 10, so we could say it's not.
Yeah.
canon.
It's not true.
It's not canon. Doesn't happen.
It's all in your imagination.
No, not listening.
Exactly.
It didn't happen. And kids are ready to go to Duff Gardens, but Homer's sick.
Oh.
In that
And then we
great
get that
sequence with the
fantastic
sandwich.
sandwich.
Yeah,
montage.
that sandwich is like one of my earliest memories of watching The Simpsons, and I always forget which episode it's in,
Give
but
it a
I'll
good
never
home.
forget that scene. Yeah.
2 more feet and I can fit it in the fridge.
It's sort of weird how this episode is about so many different things, but it doesn't have that same the problems that the newer episodes
Yeah, it doesn't feel like a mash together of other stuff. It feels like all these pieces are part of the one whole line.
I think it's always because the sandwich thing is just a throwaway joke to explain why he's sick, whereas in New Simpsons they would have spent maybe another 2 minutes on the sandwich piece almost, and like just gone on for too long, it seems. Like so
it was the perfect amount of time. And even though Homer's getting well was a bit rushed, it was all just such golden material. Like, from the initial sandwich itself, and just the visuals of it, and how like by the end it's got like
grey and
tiny mushrooms,
mushrooms growing on it, and it's grey, and everything's droopy. Marge, I'd like to be alone with the sandwich for a moment. You're gonna eat it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then later on, where he's got the foam dome as well, another callback to an earlier episode, but instead of beer, it's loaded up with Pepto-Bismol.
Yep, watches Yentl. And then I never really thought about this before, but Marge goes to a video store, rents something she wants, rents something she thinks Homer would like, and also rents a porn?
Yeah.
Actually, this
Is
is
it
something I was
technically
thinking about
porn,
as
or
well
is it
because
just
I don't know.
Cool.
I think it's
Yeah.
like...
What are you saying, Shayna?
No, but it's something I thought about in this episode that you see it actually quite a lot, that Marge and Homer actually have quite an active sex life.
Yeah.
They're frequently making the effort to spend intimate time together.
I think it's a good
quite
little
cute.
bit. Yeah, but I just like that. Just he's so homesick, but maybe he'll feel a little bit more frisky.
But yeah,
The erotic adventures of Hercules.
but I don't know, because like our video stores here didn't have like an X-rated section.
Yeah, they
like,
did.
Yeah.
Really?
Some of them, yeah.
Oh, I don't know about
Not
your
the
video
chains,
stores
wow.
out in the country.
Video
Easy
Easy
did.
definitely
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
I don't think Blockbuster did.
It was in like a separate kind of not like sealed off section, but it was in like a highly visible.
You were very obviously there for a purpose.
Yeah.
You would not. You
It was kind
could
of.
accidentally wander in.
It was
but-
within like direct eyesight usually of the counter as well, so it's not like a kid could just wander in or anything like that.
I
It
feel
was
like
usually,
the one up there at Video Easy, just up there, was in. As you walk into the front doors, it was to the left, wasn't it?
the one up where the 27
No, that
Fitness
one
is
up there.
now.
Oh,
up there.
yeah, the one up there. I know we're all
sorry,
the adults.
That just reminds me of a story you can cut. But a friend of mine worked there, and apparently someone called up and complained that their adult movies had no penetration shots. And they're like, "Sir, these are R-rated films. You would want an X-rated for that."
Well, that's
We
what
don't
I
actually-"
thought. Yeah, that we couldn't rent out X-rated films.
I don't know
over the
about
counter.
couldn't, but maybe just generally didn't. I
Yeah.
don't know, I'm not sure about.
Maybe it
But
depends
yeah, it
on
was
the-
all the R-rated ones where the plant got in the way, and
Or it was just like everything was from the waist
Yeah.
up. Or,
Yeah.
You've got the frame, and someone's head is just bobbing.
yeah,
Yeah. You just hear the
She's
noises.
like, this is great. Everyone thinks I'm fucking, but I'm just working on my squats.
Anyway, yeah.
Oh,
like,
Yentl.
the fact that the joke, oh, Yentl, that sounds good. Like, oh my god, you're delirious. Yeah.
Yeah. And the erotic adventures of Hercules as well.
Because I know like Troy McClure is like the joke is always the you may remember me from, and then like a series of films that have obviously never.
The erotic awakening of.
But does he ever? Yeah, is the erotic adventure of Hercules ever mentioned ever before?
Not that I can. No, I don't think they ever repeat any of the movies.
Right.
No.
Yeah, it always seems like
you never see a clip, and it's always something else.
Yeah, you're rarely.
The Muppets go medieval.
Man, it sucks that he's dead. Like, you have a feeling that The Simpsons could have been at least a little bit better if there was still a line.
It probably sucks that he's dead for a whole lot of other reasons as well.
Well, I would say not just dead, but like murdered as well. Like, pretty
extra strength sad.
Yeah, very sad.
But Phil Hartman was all through this episode. He was the narrator in the Duff Gardens commercial. He was Lionel Hutz, and then he did Hercules' laugh. Like, that was just so unmistakably Phil Hartman.
Sorry, quick interjection. In terms of sign gags, Selma goes to like a psychic to get a love potion, and there's just the sign, potions, hexes, facts.
Man.
Yeah, the whole truth serum bit as well. Just at Duff Gardens as well, I was surprised how small and self-contained in the third act this was.
Yeah, very succinct.
But yeah, they do a bunch of like references to Disney things, like the pyramid, I think, is like an Epcot zone thing. Yeah, and the beer presidents, of course, is the Hall of Presidents.
Sorry, they're so heavy it would take 5 men to lift it.
22 immigrant workers died in its construction.
Oh my god, and what was with Selma's line after that?
There's plenty more where it came from.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, that's
that's mid-90s humor for you.
Yep.
You can still make fun of immigrants.
And Selma has a great line, which I quote all the time, is, "Oh kids, look, a bench."
I literally did that when we were at Disney World.
Oh my god.
Oh look, a bench. This is gonna be fun. Yeah.
They made some good benches. And the long line for the complaints department, silly joke, but pretty good.
Yep.
But it's sadly exactly what Universal was like as well. They mazed the shit out of the lines in Universal.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
They are really good at mazes.
Yeah.
The lines with the Ripsaw Falls.
Oh my god.
Oh, what the fuck was with that?
Yeah, it just kept going and going.
Whereas like the lines at Disney where they make them that long, but they don't have the people to fill it, they cut through.
Yeah.
They find a way to cut through it.
Yeah.
So.
We did actually go on the Dragon Riders one, but that's even worse than Ripsaw Falls. It just you think you keep going and you're like, I'm surely we're here now, and you're not.
So how many people you expecting?
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. And that leads them into the Duff beer for me, Duff beer for you bit, which I'm gonna have stuck in my head.
Yeah. And Lisa Day to drink the water.
Yeah. Oh, that whole bit with her, that whole acid freak out, I love it.
Just the beauty and the animation and coloring in that whole section. Is
It's really cool actually with it.
Beautifully
with the hands,
surreal.
Like kind of like leaving behind. Although that bit always reminded me of like Mully Grubs. Freaked me out. Yeah.
That is like
weird show.
Horrible acid trip. Like that show. But there was so much good animation and like shit morphing into other shit, and like when she puts her shoulder.
Put your head right here.
Yeah, and that demon pops out of it. It's perfect.
I was about to say, the bit I really like is even just that bit where it's like the beer for me, and the bit like with the faces, and they just start blurring out of focus so slightly.
Yeah, and
like
the music.
Out, like, oh, that's so creepy, but so good.
It's perfectly well done.
Yeah.
And her blurting out, "I am the Lizard Queen."
I always go like, where did she get a shovel from though? Like, she's like swinging it at the.
It's the oar from the boat.
Why would there be an oar?
I don't know, but there is one.
It's got I'm pretty sure it's got like a shovel handle on it at the end. So it's one like it's so.
Yeah,
weird.
it's a shovel oar.
Okay, of course. Yeah.
For when you need to dig water.
Corrected.
It's from pirating times when you'd row ashore, but then you need to bury your treasure with a shovel.
Yeah. Okay,
it was your combination oar shovel. Yeah.
I've got one. You don't.
Yeah, I know.
X marks the spot on value. Anything else to say about Duff Gardens?
Again, another joke I didn't get the first time when I was a kid is when they're doing the "Hey kids, take a walk on the wild side," and all the racists sing "do" instead of all the colored girls. I'm like, but then later on you get that, you're like, that's hilarious. Way to wholesome something up. And also when Selma's shopping for sperm and it says, "One of the sweat hogs," I checked, it's not Horseshack. And then obviously when you watch Welcome Back, Cody, you get that.
Oh, okay, I didn't get it.
Well, watch Welcome Back, Kotter.
I was trying to figure out. Yeah, I get the intent of the joke. But if you think about it too much, it kind of doesn't really hold up. But it's like when they go, Patty, I want a baby, and like Maggie starts looking really scared, and you think about it, you go, well, I mean, Maggie wouldn't. Like, well, she's obviously
she's not old enough to
intelligent. They make her intelligent enough to understand things in the show, and that's fine. But it's like she thinks that like Selma is going to steal her. Like, there's even
I thought that was the implication.
That's the implication. But I'm like, well, there's no way that would actually happen, though. Like, even anyway, it just annoyed me.
It's a baby struggling at a door. Like, I think that's like. All the thinking that needs to be put into it.
And then the other bit is like they make Abraham Lincoln's voice sound like really kind of like regal and noble and everything. When apparently
he was very high pitched.
He had like a squeaky voice like a tea kettle. Apparently,
but he also apparently lowered it down for his public speaking.
Yeah, which makes me think like, damn, attention to detail, Simpsons. Yeah, do research.
So Daniel.
Oh my God, you are exactly like Jonah with the fucking banana peel. That's you.
Yeah,
you're driving me
We're
crazy.
watching Superstore at the moment, and it's humans that do it wrong when they peel a banana.
Not
somebody kill me.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Just
How is that show anyway?
It's actually pretty good.
Yeah?
We're only like 7 episodes into the first season,
but
it's
cute.
It's
got some decent laughs.
Yeah, because I was watching it on the plane and I'm like, okay, this is a little silly, but it's got potential.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Like in a Parks and Rec season
You
one
know
kind
what?
of way.
It's kind of like all of Community, where all Community's always like quality, except for maybe season 4, and sometimes it's better than others. But you like all the characters.
Sure.
Also, yeah. Anyway, sorry, not.
No, tangents are fun. You were saying? Gonna say?
I was thinking about saying. I wasn't aware.
I was segueing it perfectly into Beach Says.
Well, thank you. My other only quote is when they're traveling back in the car and someone's all like, there's a hole inside of me that needs to be filled by something. Don't worry, we'll get that barking dog record tomorrow.
That was so weird.
I love that bit. It's like, what's missing in my life? Barking dog record.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the other one. 7, 8, 9.
Counting game.
It's a counting game. Oh, that's cute. 10. But how many friggin' suitcases can they fit on the roof? How many do they need for
where are you
like
going?
7 people? Like, where are you? Anyway.
Well, yeah, there was a joke that Patty and Selma both overpacked and...
Yeah. And Lisa squashed into the back
squashed
of
into
the
the...
booth.
Yeah.
Don't hear Lisa complaining.
Yeah, so anyway, Selma finally gets Lisa and Bart back after them causing shenanigans in Duff Gardens, and then they come back to the house and Homer's pretending to be Hercules. Homocles cares not for beans.
And I do love the line of, how do you do it, Homer? You take an ordinary bedsheet.
It's the perfect amount of like, not necessarily him being stupid, but just like...
Well, just that sentimental moment for her of, I thought I wanted this and it's not something I can do.
Yeah.
But of course, why would he know that's what she was thinking? So of course it's like, it's just a bedsheet.
Yeah.
It's almost like she has... almost like respect for Homer, which is something that the sisters never have in any of the episodes, really. In fact, when we were like talking about that in one episode in like season 20, where they actually try and murder him by pushing him off a bridge. But the fact that she's like actually like, how do you do it? Like, I couldn't do it, and you're managing to do this like crazy thing of not just raising one kid, but like 3.
Yeah.
It's kind of out of character, but then it's obviously never called back because it's kind of it wouldn't be canon for them to suddenly start liking Homer or anything. It's
it was a nice moment of respect as well, and her falling into his arms as well, and just like, oh God, I can't do it.
Yeah.
You can hate people you respect.
Yeah,
it's possible. I do it.
Yeah, but I guess usually that's like a turning point of when you kind of you're able to level with that person on some
to some degree,
in some degree, and then kind of being able to go, okay, I understand you better now. But then it's obviously the next episode. It's kind of factory reset.
Yep. Back to the status quo.
Yeah.
Ay caramba.
All right, and just finally on the episode, Lisa's line, Kentok coming down.
Yeah.
Oh, and let's not forget, give her these, then these, then these. Well, thank you, Doctor. Oh, I'm not a doctor.
Another quote that you use all the time. Oh, I'm not a doctor.
No. I'm a doctor on weekends.
So, time for the questionnaire. So, yeah, it was sort of an A-B storyline, but it was like B happened.
It was tied to the one thing.
Yeah.
So you branched.
I thought it was almost continuous. Like it was just there was
but the stories split up the second Homer got sick, and then they came back together at the end. But anyway, that's just what it was. Anyway, do you remember watching this back in the day? Any memories of said when back then?
I remember watching this one at my best friend's house.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, when it must have first come out in Australia. That's why the sandwich is the oldest running joke for me, because I remember that. I remember her and I laughing our heads off at that bloody sandwich.
It was hilarious.
And I've seen it so many fucking times since then. Yeah.
You guys, any memories specifically?
Not specifically, just because it's just so tied to life and
Yeah.
everything in general. It's like, do you remember your first heartbeat? No.
Yeah, but you just you were always singing Duff Beer for me, Duff Beer for you.
I think that's the thing. That's the thing, because as a kid, it was like, I think I went to Disneyland when I was, I don't know how old I was. And I remember going on Into Small World, and that obviously resonated, because that was like the only ride my mum would go on. She was too scared
Hey, she
of
made it
everything.
onto the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train.
Yeah,
this
she
time.
made it onto
Oh
some
god,
other ones
that
this
photo
time.
of her is hilarious.
But so I think
Tweet it.
I remember that because I remember the Duff thing, because it was like, oh my god, it's I know this. This is a reference I get as a child, and yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I don't have any specific memories myself. Is this an episode you've revisited often? How many times do you think you have revisited it?
946.
Yeah.
Incredibly specific.
Approximately.
Yeah.
Give or take.
Well, I suppose now it's 947.
Yeah. I'd say this would be in the 40s for me, but like it's been a while since I've seen it, because there was a few surprises for me in this episode. Any jokes that you only just noticed on this viewing? For me, it was those sign gags, like the
Yeah.
You don't think about reading when you're watching TV.
the
No.
buzzing sign diner and the fax machine at the psychics. And
Because usually they're kind of just they flash up for like 1 second, and if you're not watching in that exact moment, like if you turn your head or whatever, it's gone and you've missed it. So.
And that sperm in your hands joke, I think that's the dirtiest one that we've seen on the index since Sneed's Feed and Seed.
Yeah,
Which I
that's
maintain.
probably.
It's got to
doesn't
be a
make
joke.
sense. No, I agree it's a joke. It just doesn't make sense.
Do you guys know that one?
Yeah, the formerly Chuck's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
I know
It would
the
just be Chuck's Feed and Seed.
yeah, but
I know,
otherwise
I know.
it's not a joke.
I know. It's not a joke the other way, but that's why it makes sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, we argued about this on the other episode
We
at
did.
length. Do you see yourself watching this episode again?
Yeah.
Yep.
Done.
Wait,
Me-
what season is this again?
4.
4. So yes, but I was just thinking, I don't think we've seen a lot of. I don't think we put 4 in a lot.
No.
No.
There's just going back to quickly the jokes I'd never got before is, oh Yentl, you put the she in your Shiva. So cute. This Homer just has some of the cutest lines. It's adorable.
That whole thing was so cute. Wackiness.
Lisa drinks the water, but that's about it.
Yeah, the wackiness existed in the Duff Gardens and in the sandwich.
I was about to say
but
the.
it also was,
Homer would not get that well that quickly from eating what that thing was.
no.
Well, yeah, I guess food poisoning can kind of come and go quite quickly as well.
Let's
but
also-
depending on what he had.
Yeah. Let's also consider that Homer A eats a lot of crap and B
Yeah.
drinks a lot and is fine. He may just have an amazing constitution.
Yeah.
True.
And just, a metabolism that just wrecks shit.
Yeah.
Like plus
You
20
cannot keep that man
modifier
down.
to constitution.
So yeah, I
checks.
was actually just about to ask. So, if my character in D&D has a high constitution,
You're very hard to poison.
ooh, I'm gonna start just eating everything. I'm pretty sure I've got a high constitution.
like the ancient ones who used to take like the ancient Greeks or Egyptians used to have a little bit of poison every day to build up poison in their system. Is the story.
Well, it's like the food tasters as well. They'd have a little bit of arsenic or whatever, so that they could
Oh wow.
test if a food has.
You got to know what
poison.
you're tasting for.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
Yeah, the wackiness I think is definitely in that Busch Gardens, like the like Bart on that
Yeah,
roller
roller
coaster and
Yeah.
whatever. Although the roller coaster.
Yeah, that roller coaster that goes loop to loops and stuff, and only has a bar to protect you.
Yeah. And also is just one passenger per coaster as well.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
see all the queues for the complaints department, and he just gets straight on.
Yeah,
to
there's
this,
no
like,
one else on that
amazing
entire
roller
thing.
coaster. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Well, everyone
guys.
else
And
is
then they're
waiting
like,
for
"Oh,
complaints.
can't you help him?" And they're like getting right up to the track and like putting their hand on the track, looking up, going, "Can't you help
Well,
him?" Like,
and they're already there.
yeah, it's like.
And I love the
what?
bit though. I'll have to ask my supervisor. Oh, you better stop it. So good. The heart of this episode. I think the heart is exactly where you pointed it out. It was in Selma falling into Homer's arms and going, "Oh my God,
How do you do it?
you dumbass! I respect you."
Just wanted a little version of me I could hold in my arms. You know.
Jump, jump.
You make me feel like a natural woman.
That was so sweet, that ending.
Jub Jub is pretty adorable.
I think the reading of the will, even because you could see like on her face, she was kind of gradually kind of coming to this dawning realization of what she wanted out of life.
I do want to mention, and it's not so much wackiness, so much as what are we supposed to expect? This is a magic rib. When they're traveling home and the grandfather clock is leaning out the back and it's ticking and it's chiming. Grandfather clocks cannot chime if they're lying on their side. Yeah. So that is a symbol of her biological
Well, actually, they
clock.
can't even tick if they're lying on their side
because they can't. The pendulum
doesn't work.
So I'm going to take that as symbolism.
Also, they were driving home at midnight.
Well, yeah. When do you?
Well, yeah. You want to beat the funeral traffic.
Yeah, true.
It's hectic on a weekend.
Yeah.
You make me feel like a natural woman. That recording was by Aretha.
That was Aretha. Of course.
It was the Queen. Did it feel like an episode of Simpsons? I think it did.
Most definitely. Yeah.
No,
and even the wackiness, when I'm talking about the wackiness factor, is so contained.
Yeah.
Within a reasonable Simpsons realm. Yeah. Yes, it's a bit wacky, but you do expect some dumb, terrible fucking jokes. Like that, the roller coaster just ending like,
But I feel they even pull out of the wackiness by going, can't you do something? Hey, Surly only looks after one guy.
Surly.
Oh, sorry, Surly. Shut up.
Gotta love
but
Surly
it's part of this, like, Simpsons, it's one of those things I think that The Simpsons does so beautifully, and I'm sure I've said it before. Those visual gags with the roller coaster topping, those are for the kids.
Yeah.
Surly looks after one guy. Surly, shut up, is for us. Or other gags. Homer Cleese cares not for beans.
Can I just say though, how awesome would it be if you got to be Surly at the bloody?
That would have been us.
That was your character.
Just have to be kind of a jerk the whole day.
Yeah.
That would have been our server at the 50s Primetime Cafe last time we were there.
Yeah. But also, I did like the visual gag of Bart like so eager, like he's sitting in the roller coaster, and then the bar just comes down like over
right
his head,
behind his
and
back.
it's like, it's like,
yeah. But yeah, and in that moment, you've earned the wackiness at that point. But cementing with some real good story. It was absolutely an episode of The Simpsons. So unless there's any other quotable moments,
I think we've gone through them.
I think we've said them all.
Let's rank it. I will kick it off, and I'm calling it a gold. I'm not calling it a cubic zirconia. I don't think it's perfection. I think there are slow moments in the whole Selma plot, and I don't know. The gold standard, it's excellent. It's not necessarily bad. I'm just saying it's not perfection. It's not so up there with the best of the best. But it is a fucking solid entry. So I'm calling it gold. Shayna.
Gold. Yeah. I actually totally agree with you. It's a great episode. It's not the best episode. There are some places where it falls flat or the laughs are a little maybe forced. That maybe could have been a little bit better. But, I mean, this is giving, 20 years hindsight or, whatever. So, but otherwise I think it's a really great episode. I love the whole episode, but I think the quote, "I am the Lizard Queen," is funny, but I'm also done hearing it because for some reason over the last year or two, it's become quite a popular quote. I've seen it on a lot of different tattoos, and I've just heard people saying it in general, so I've kind of just gotten over it. That's not The Simpsons' fault.
Yeah, well, I forgot to mention before, it comes from The Doors, from Jim Morrison saying, "I am the Lizard King."
I'm the Lizard, yeah.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I don't know why I've seen that around a lot the last couple of years. It just has happened. Yeah. But I think it's a really good episode. It does have a lot of heart. It does, like you said, really get some great moments. Oh, like the one between Patty and Marge. It's a really cute episode. I really like it.
Yeah, a couple of concerned sisters there. That was a nice moment, actually. What about you, George?
I'll probably break from tradition here. I'm gonna say silver. Like, it's not my favorite episode. It's not. I'm not saying it's by any means bad. I mean, I gave the previous one a participant because bronze. It was kind of whatever. Did you say bronze or participant?
It's on the record. You said bronze.
Fair enough.
I thought he said anyway.
Doesn't matter.
Whatever.
It's either. Oh no, I said I was going to give it participant, but then they said phallus, so I was going to give it bronze. Anyway, I think it's just it's a good episode and I remember it. But it doesn't. It just doesn't grab me the way that some of the other episodes do. It's not obviously perfection, and it's just, I don't know. I think if I was to compare it to the other theme park episode, and namely like Itchy and Scratchy Land,
Sure.
I would rate that higher than this one. And I guess only because, well, I mean, it's kind of, as we said, it's hard to compare because the Duff Guns bit is only the last, third of the episode. But it is quite sweet, and it's a nice episode. And there are some quotable moments, but it just doesn't rank. It's not in that kind of top tier. It's definitely not in that god tier one.
Sure.
Either, but it's not. For me, it's not. It's good, and like Silver is by no means a bad kind of ranking at all. It's definitely a lot better than lots of other episodes, but it's just not. It's not in my kind of like my, like 4-star
Pantheon
playlist.
of
Yeah,
The
exactly.
echelon.
Yeah. So Silver, which is still a solid ranking. It's just it's kind of like I see it and go, yeah, it's nice, but it's not like I want to go watch it again like as soon as possible.
Yeah,
All right,
you
cool.
can still be a star on a Wheaties box with a silver.
Yeah, exactly.
How about you, Beej?
I'm gonna gold it. It's one of those ones where I have no complaints, and there's not really a point where I'm gonna point to it and say this could be better. It just doesn't, despite not having any faults, it's something I can't give perfection to because it's just not as great and not as laugh a minute, not as thrilling as some of the other ones.
Sure.
So I think the ones we have QZ'd, and they're just, you look at them, this is just perfect, and it's very good, but I just falls flat of perfection.
Yeah, absolutely. And cool, that about does it.
Sorry, just a quick question. Do you spell cubic with a Q?
Yes, I do.
Okay, cool. You said QZ, and I was like, okay, cool, whatever.
No,
Yeah,
true,
because it
is
sounds
Caesar.
like cubic.
I've
but-
literally never thought about it before.
And now that I'm thinking about it, I feel like a fucking idiot.
Yeah, no, literally. It's been 22 episodes. I've continuously pictured it as QZ.
But I know what he's talking about. But if
Yeah.
he said CZ, I'm like, what's CZ? Have you got a disease or
Cesarean?
something? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd ask him if he was getting a
pregnant?
C-section. Yeah.
It's one of those things, if I ever wrote it down, I might have noticed, but I've just said it, and I'm just like,
Fair enough.
QZ just
Do you
felt
like how we
the-
just talked down to you? I'm sorry, did you just say QZ?
He's completely right, though.
Yeah, but he doesn't have to be such a dick about it.
I've just literally never noticed, because it just felt like the natural
That's fine.
abbreviation.
QZ sounds better. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Rolls off the tongue. CZ, yeah, you're right. Or actually CZ.
Yeah.
If you wanna
Oh,
be-
Jesus.
If you want to
shut
be
up.
like, if you want to.
Are we going to have a
worse,
ZZ argument?
No, I'm saying if you want to make it sound worse, CZ.
But
Alright.
really, Z rhymes with the rest of the alphabet. Z
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's Y and Z.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you can't pronounce the
I
Rush
know,
song.
technical pronunciations aside. Hey, you're talking to a guy who pronounces C a Q, so why don't you shut up with that big smart mouth of yours?
All right. So that about does it for episode 22 of The Simpsons Index. Shayna and Jordan,
my
thank
lucky
you for
number.
having us around.
Oh, always our pleasure.
And BT, thank you for
Bort.
joining us
Thanks,
again.
Cheesecake Calloway.
Bort.
Bort Calloway.
Are you talking to me?
No, my name is also Bort.
We'll try and watch that episode next time. But until then, that's Shayna, that's Jordan, that's BT. I'm your host, Elliot J. O'Neill, and I am never tapping out.
Thank you for checking out the Simpsons Index podcast. Don't forget to go to www.thesimpsonsindex.com for the spreadsheet and information about upcoming episodes.
Googling things on the Simpsons Index.